J-Lock.
The Clippers can do whatever the hell they want, but I'm not going. I'm not going to trust them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Let's get into it.
Let's do it, Bino.
All right, yo, Perry.
Talk to me.
Yo, Perry, can I talk to you, brother?
100%.
Talk to Perry.
Yo,
talk to Perry.
Talk to me
wild.
nice, as
That's
long as you
wild.
do it nicely.
All right. Oh, J-Lon, you want start? All right, yo, J-Lon, let me talk to you. brother. My bad. That was
Talk
disrespectful.
to big dog. I'm a father, but it's okay.
Yeah, you know, I thought you wanted
Got
that
the crib
father
in the
time. You know,
background.
that father rest. You know, I thought you wanted like that
Nah,
father rest, but it's all good.
I'm up anyways, bro.
Yo, let me talk to you, brother.
That's good.
Julius Irving, Dr. J, left LeBron off two greatest of all time list,
Yeah.
saying that
did.
LeBron started super
Yeah.
team. How do you feel about LeBron being left off this list, and what do you make of super teams?
I'm not a LeBron fan. I would say I'm not a LeBron fan. No, I'm not a LeBron fan. But I do appreciate his greatness. It's ridiculous to leave him off of any All NBA team, and the reason he left him off is even more ridiculous. Moses Malone is a Hall of Famer.
Correct.
One of the greatest rebounders to ever play this game. One of the greatest big men to ever play this game.
Correct.
Maurice Cheeks. Mo
Good
Cheeks. Is an all-time great point guard. Hall of Famer, is he not?
Correct.
Those are two of his teammates. And then had a two-time Sixth Man of the Year in Bobby Brown. But I digress. I'm gonna give him a pass on that one because Dr. J did play on a super team. Let's define super team. What I view a super team as is two elite all-star level or all-star players that are playing on the same team. When we look at LeBron, we like to blame him, and I found myself victim, and I did this too. I blamed him for starting a super team movement. But what LeBron, in fact, started was player empowerment. Because teams were well within their right to form super teams and break up super teams. They can ship you in the middle of games without question and without punishment, without regard. You find out through Twitter. They can tell you one thing to your face and ship you to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, within the blink of an eye, a la Chris Paul. Why is he so against super teams now that LeBron has given the players given the players their freedom to do what they want? I'm not with that. He had Jerry West on this list, which is absolutely shocking.
Mr. 1 for 9 in the finals?
Mr. 1 for 9 for the finals. He had Oscar Robertson. Okay. Elgin Baylor. That's a walking bucket. Bill Russell. Will Chamberlain. He had Kareem. My biggest issue with these lists, I'm not even going to mention Michael Jordan being on the second team. I'm not even going to mention that. Karl Malone made this list. He made the second team. Karl Malone made the second team. I'll leave it at that.
Yo, Perry, let me talk to you quick.
Talk to me nicely.
I'm gonna give it to you the same way I gave it to J-Lo. Dr. J left LeBron off two greatest of all time list, stating LeBron started super teams. How do you feel about LeBron being left off a greatest of all time list? And what are your thoughts on super teams?
You can leave LeBron off the greatest of all time list. That's, purely up to your discretion. I don't mind that he left him off the list, but I take offense to the reasoning because it's inconsistent with the story of his career. And now I have a question to ask. If you have the opportunity to play with Dwayne Wade and Chris Paul, or you can play with the guy whose nickname is Booby.
And a part-time rapper.
Who left basketball to become a rapper. That whole entire Cavaliers team, after 3 years, did not play. Meaning he is what we call one who generated employment opportunities for people. So if we were to go in and go into depth with that, imagine this conversation with the GM and let's say LeBron, or we'll go like a KD. Hey, KD, do you want to play with James Harden? No, I want to earn this by myself. What? What? Dr. J, did he not play with Moses Malone? Did he not play with Mo Cheeks? Did he not play with Bobby Jones? All three of them are Hall of Famers.
I think I said Bobby Brown. My bad. I just realized I think I said Bobby Brown. My bad.
So my question is,
R.I.P. Bobby Brown.
okay, LeBron started the super team era. How are we going to define super team? I think super team should be defined as essentially the assimilation of a group of talent that gives one team an unfair advantage to another team because of whatever the case may be, but it also elicits a level of privilege. How privileged were those Sixers teams that he was on where he won that championship? I think they were really privileged. I think this is very inconsistent with what's been going on throughout the history of basketball. The goal is to win, but you also want to play with greatness. You want to play with great players. And what were the Celtics with Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett?
The truth. That's what they were.
But what were they? Is that not a super team? So what did LeBron do? He went to another team so that he can compete with that team. I just don't understand. Be consistent.
So, sorry, Bina, can I jump in here? So, Dr. J goes on to clarify that he thinks a super team is not built by a team. So, built through free agency or through trade. He said super teams are built when players choose to play with their friends. That's what I just want to put that out there.
Oh, well, I think that's ridiculous nonetheless. Like you can't have it one way. A super team, if it's built by players, who cares? Who cares? At the end of the day, teams are assembling super teams anyways. It just doesn't make sense to me. The definition can't make sense to me, and you can't cater a definition so that it fits the storyline of your career as opposed to someone else's. Those Celtics players, they had the option to sign with any other team. They ended up signing with the Celtics, being Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen.
They're both traded.
Kevin Garnett had a no trade clause, no?
Yeah.
Waived it.
Okay. So was he no, but I just feel like he's a part of that decision making process.
He chose his destination. Yeah, you're right, Perry.
Exactly. So
You're
that's
right.
technically a super team by Julius Erving's definition.
Okay. Mukhtar. Dr. J left LeBron off 2 greatest of all time list, saying it's because of the super teams that LeBron started. How do you feel about LeBron being left off, and what do you think of super teams?
LeBron being left off any all-time list is very disrespectful to the game of basketball. He's done too much. I know he's been scrutinized. I know he's had some choking performances that are emphasized throughout media, and he's really one of the because of media, we see all of his faults more because it's just out there, but because of social media, let me profess that. But yeah, it's just another case of an old basketball player who just hates the new generation, I think. Just like get off of my lawn type of thing. Like he had like Bill Russell, James, like, okay, didn't J-Lo say Elgin Baylor was on his list of greatest of all time?
First team is Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. Second team is Magic, Mike, Larry, Carl, Kareem.
So Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain played in the NBA when they said 6'9" black guys can't play in the NBA. So those guys are already nullified. Jerry West won 1 championship. Oscar Robertson won 1 championship. Elgin Baylor never won a championship. So he obviously has a favoritism to his era, which is understandable because everybody thinks their era is the greatest. But at the end of the day, it's bull. LeBron really changed basketball, one of the greatest ever, and he's still showing us his greatness. And it just shows the effect that LeBron has. He has people talk about him like this. It's crazy. And my definition of a super team is a collection of 3 Hall of Fame talents in their prime, surrounded by a good cast. So, yeah, what Dr. J had was a super team. The reason why LeBron had to make a super team was because of the Boston Celtics. So, if you're gonna blame anybody, blame the Boston Celtics. So yeah, I just don't think that point was valid at all. I think it came from a place in his heart where he doesn't like the state of basketball today compared to where it was back then, and it's just something that is honestly like you'd expect more from a Hall of Fame player and a great ambassador from basketball from Dr. J. But it's just disappointing that we got to see this side of him.
I don't mind the top 10. I just want to I want to put that out there. I don't mind the top 10 mainly because if he chose his players based off of who he looked up to as a basketball player, that's one thing. I just mind the justification that he used to snub LeBron. It doesn't make sense. It's just the super team era cannot be solely attributed to the player empowerment because that's ridiculous.
I want to ask a quick question on the super teams. This is coming out of left field, but I feel like it fits. It's something that J-Lo posed, but we didn't decide to go with it, but I'm going to ask it anyways. So in the topic of super teams, if KD, Kyrie, and James Harden do not win a championship, does that tarnish their legacy?
100%. 100%.
I agree.
In how many seasons?
If they don't win a championship.
Like, in how many seasons? Like, what if it's a case where they don't win this year and they disassemble?
Well, they don't win a championship.
Like, in how many seasons? Like, what's the window? If it's just this year, I don't think so.
You're the same dude that said it happens, though, so
Okay.
I don't expect you to think so.
No, but the question
like,
was,
You let a man sing the theme song one time, and now he doesn't know how to act. Okay.
It's like, okay, it doesn't matter if they're together for 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 1 year. If they don't win a championship, is it a failure? And I think unequivocally 100% is a failure.
If it's just 1 year, I don't think so.
Why?
So you think they're gonna break up if they lose a championship this year?
No.
I don't think they will.
That's not what I said. I don't know where you got that conclusion from.
Okay. So if they don't win the championship this year, it's not a failed season?
No, like I think they came up short, but I would no. You have to let me finish my sentence.
Blind.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
but
finish
you
it.
answered the
I have
question.
to finish my sentence. No, bro, I was in the midst of answering the question. I'm saying if they don't win a championship this year, they came up short. Yes, but is it a tarnish on their legacy? No, I can't say that they failed as basketball players because in their first year assembling a new team with 7 games played together, or is it 12, played as a trio, that they didn't win a championship. I can't come to that conclusion. I think that's ridiculous.
Move on, quads.
Sorry, no, I can't let that slide.
Don't let it slide.
Tarnish, definition. Lose or cause to lose luster. It doesn't mean that we don't think they achieved their goal as basketball players, as you put. Do we view them differently? And the answer is absolutely.
I'm saying I wouldn't view them differently.
We're talking about the rational basketball fan. Would they view those three players differently? I wouldn't view James Harden differently because it's kind of what he does. But I view Kyrie Irving. I view Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant completely differently because there's another situation. If we look in OKC at Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Serge Ibaka. If we look at Golden State, he joined a 73-9 team after blowing a 3-1 lead to that very same team and proceeded to win two championships with 2 Finals MVPs. Fantastic. Now he's joining, you say, the most skilled player ever. I think the best offensive player that we have in this game alongside Russell Westbrook. The most efficient shooter in the game for the past 4 years in Joe Harris. Mike D'Antoni, who's a Hall of Fame coach. Like, Kevin Durant has all the cards and Kyrie Irving have all the cards stacked up against everybody else. Who else in the league has this privilege?
I just want to ask Perry one question. When LeBron lost to Dallas in 2011, what did you think of him?
But that's different. Your mind.
What do you mean that's
changes.
different?
Perry, your mind changes.
No, it's not
your
different.
Mind changes.
That's the first year. Just like you said, if they don't win the first year, it won't tarnish the legacy.
And
LeBron
your mind
smashed
starts to change.
for that.
with age, you start to mature. When I first saw it,
Get outta here with that.
obviously
Miss
I
me.
had my 100%. With the first year, obviously I was like, yo, this is a terrible season. They flopped. This is embarrassing. But then as I continued watching basketball, I understood it. It was their first year as a team. They assembled a team. They had little to no chemistry, and they were figuring things out. I didn't expect it to be a norm.
So, what excuse can you give the Brooklyn Nets as to why they, in the event that they do lose this season, they don't win the championship this season? What excuse can you give the Brooklyn Nets as to why they did not attain their ultimate goal?
How many games does the Big Three play together?
7, and
What do you mean and? Kevin
Is
Durant's coming off an Achilles injury. Kyrie Irving. James Harden was injured for the first time this year, and they played 7 games as a trio. What do you mean?
Is Kevin Durant the best player at what he does?
Yes, but he's coming off
Okay.
an injury. He's coming off an injury.
Wait,
I'm
didn't he just
not
drop
doing the
42
yes or
the other
no.
day? Didn't he just drop 42 the other day? You do this all the time, Perry, so you have to take it. If you give it, you got to take it. Listen, didn't he just drop 42 the other day? Yes. Kyrie Irving, you said he's the best point guard in the NBA. Am I correct? Yes. James Harden, he's the best shooting guard / point guard in the NBA, right? Correct.
yes,
So there's no excuse. If you have that great a collection of talent playing together at the same time, there's no excuse. If you don't win,
They played
Sorry.
7 games together.
beginning of the year,
understand it.
Kyrie
I don't want
said.
to hear that, man.
Kyrie also said,
Yeah.
for the first time in my career, I have the bleep who can hit that shot just like me. No,
I believe so. Yeah.
Let's
Come
move
on,
on.
Pops.
Boys. Yeah, let's move on, boys.